Yes! Another episode, episode 68. We're back with the follow-up to last week's advertising episode, where I gave you a lot of descriptive language that can improve your fluency if you're a language learner, and a lesson idea for any teacher watching these episodes. As you know, these episodes are meant for language learners who want to improve their fluency. If you're using the generic words that are in your comfort zone, these episodes are meant to give you some alternative replacements for the words that you use too often and improve your fluency by using them a lot more than you were before, if ever. So I'm following up on the context of marketing and advertising because last week I covered the words that describe the typical things that we feel with regards to ads, okay? And I gave you some examples of ads, and remember, we also have the regular examples of types of advertising, right? So last week we talked about the online stuff related to the internet that we're so exposed to, but in the regular physical world, in our everyday life, we're getting bombarded with ads as well, aren't we? So billboards, leaflets, television, radio, public transport, movie theaters, not to mention my example from last week, even in the bathroom. Okay, we are trying to get some private time to use the toilet, but we get a poster that tells us about the specials of the drinks of the night. Okay, and all of these types of ads are ways for marketers, advertisers to try and tempt you, entice you, convince you, urge you, pressurize you, or appeal to your temptations. Okay, so I just covered the first part of the words that I would like to introduce for this episode. The language that goes very closely with marketing, this temptation, to tempt you to buy something, or to entice you is another synonym word for this. Okay, something is very enticing. You walk by a restaurant, you smell how delicious the food is coming from that restaurant. It's very enticing, very tempting. You want to go and sit and eat there something, okay? Or urge is another word, all right? An ad can urge you to try a service or a product that you haven't tried before because maybe it's better than what you usually use, the product or the service, okay? So they're urging you, they're trying to seduce you into trying or using a new product, okay? If something is seductive, all right, that means that it's not necessarily going to help you or make things better, okay? It's a kind of gimmick. It's another new word for you. If it's a gimmick, it means that the advertiser is trying to show you something that is a feature of their service or product that is going to make your life better, but you learn after purchasing this service or product that actually it is a gimmick. It looks like it's going to help you, but it turns out not to be helpful at all or valuable in any sense, okay? So this can be seductive, the way they kind of trick you into thinking it's so valuable. Pressurize, you might feel pressure to buy something, especially with marketing pricing tactics. Words I'm going to cover in a moment regarding tactics, okay? So there are ways of pricing it might pressurize you into buying more of something than you really want, okay? And pay a little bit more. But the pricing structure is what puts that pressure on you, okay? So let me put those words back into a nice little bubble for you. So they appeal to your senses, okay? Advertisers appeal to your senses, like your sense of smell, your sense of hearing when you go into a shop, all right? Also with the lighting, like the visuals, okay? The images, they are appealing to your senses to make you comfortable or to make you want to purchase something when you go into a physical shop. And they can also do it online, all right? So appeal, all right? We also have assure or reassure. So it's very assuring when a salesperson is selling you something and telling you how safe or valuable or reliable that product or service is. You feel assured or maybe even reassured that what you're buying is the best option for you. When a salesperson is giving you all the list of benefits and things that are going to make you feel nice and warm and cozy inside, chances are you're going to feel reassured that what you're buying is the best for the money that you have, your budget on this service, okay? Temptation, to tempt you to buy something, to entice you to get it, like the smell of the food when you go by a restaurant, or when you see it cooked and ready, okay? But of course, I'm using food, but it can be for any product or service, okay? Convince, you know this word we did last week. Urge, seduce, pressurize, okay? And I did persuasive last week. So those all words that can be associated with this. I want to move on to the next vocabulary section on this, and that is the word way. My students overuse it, and it shows lack of fluency because you're using way for everything. The way I cook, the way I sleep, the way I study, the way I learn, the way I get to work, the way I promote my service. Whatever it is. Synonym words. You want some? You want to get more fluent? Here we go. Tactic, approach, method, strategy, stratagem, line of action, or line of attack. Okay, you can also say approach or technique or style or the means, all right? And finally, MO, modus operandi. Okay, so I gave you a lot there. You don't have to use all of them. But again, you can switch it up a little bit. You can say that your approach to learning a language is different than other people's, okay? Or the method that you use for preparing a specific meal is this way, unlike what other people choose, the method that they choose, okay? Your strategy or style of exercising might be different to reach the ultimate goal that you have for your fitness or your weight loss, okay? It's a strategy, or it's a system, or it's a method, or it's a stratagem if you want to sound very official, okay? Or again, with working out, you're not going to use technique, right? It's not a technique, but when you're doing specific exercises regarding a specific part of your body, that might be related to technique. So technique is a little bit more defined and specific, okay? Like the technique with how you do a specific exercise, okay? Or the technique a specific teacher uses when teaching grammar or vocabulary. That will be a technique. But the overall approach or method or strategy, that's something else. So nice words that you can easily maybe incorporate into your speech to improve your fluency. So that's all I have for today for this second part on advertising, but I've covered a lot of language. And as I said in last week's episode, I'm wearing this Padlet shirt because I am giving you an example of a kind of affiliation ad, right? That we covered in last week's episode. Click on the link above here if you want to check it out, or at the end of this video. Now remember, I'm not getting any money from Padlet for urging you or recommending you their service. I just use it as a teacher, and it's really great. The affiliation example that I gave you last week, you get money for this, okay? There's a commission when you click on that link of the blogger and then you buy the item. Here, I'm just a teacher who uses this great online tool for teaching, and with this topic of advertising, I have a lesson idea in the notes that you can use if you are a teacher watching these episodes that can be great for you to build around a lesson for your students. This can offer a great opportunity to start and use it. So, thank you for following. Thank you for being a viewer of my episodes. If you find it valuable, of course, share it with others who you know who might find value from this. All right, I'll be back next week for another episode. Be proud teachers. Be lifelong learners. Make some happen. Build that momentum. And I'll see you next week for another episode of ESL Trailblazer. It's been a pleasure. I have a lot more to give. Remember, every Friday, Freshen Up Fridays, newsletter. If you want that bonus material, sign up. It's in the notes. We're done here. Take care. See you next week, guys. Later.